Hey everyone, this is episode 16 in the Rye podcast with Curt, Fletcher. My guest today is John Wessling, who is a comedian from Houston, and he also hosts a podcast called the After Later podcast. Super funny guy. Worked with him a few times. So let's go talk to John Wessling, everybody. Can you guess what condo I'm at?
Hold on, let me see. Oh, are you in Little Rock?
Nope.
Is
Close.
that Tulsa?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's the Rodney Dangerfield quote behind me.
Yeah, that place is full of ghosts.
It is.
Yeah, it's a creepy spot.
It
How am
kind
I
of
doing on
is.
sound? Does it sound okay? I had a problem with my mic cord earlier. I didn't know if it was.
Sounds good to me. My left side of my headphones don't work with this microphone for
Oh,
some
no.
reason, but I can hear you just fine.
Well, excellent. Well, hey, what do you? I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. What do you want me to do? What's our plan?
Okay, yeah, I'll just interview you for about 30 to 35 minutes or so.
Oh, cool.
Is that cool?
That sounds great.
Awesome.
Can I dance a little bit like this?
Oh, yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit of this?
Please do.
Just a little bit. I'm really good at shoulder dancing. It's about
Dude, I used to be really good at shoulder dancing.
Yeah,
I still am.
It stops right at the diaphragm. Like there's no dancing below the
Oh, yeah.
below
Still
the
pretty
ribs.
good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, can I listen to Jeff a
Yeah,
little bit?
look at that. Hey,
Mhm.
do this
You
more
still
often.
got it. You still got it, man.
Yeah. I did invent the robot square dance. Me and my buddy back in the day. That was pretty fun.
That's
I thought it was
cool.
gonna hit big, but not really.
You never know. I mean, it has all the ingredients.
It does, yeah.
You know, robot, square dance. You never know which ones are gonna fly and which ones aren't.
Yeah.
So who are you working with there in beautiful Tulsa?
I was working with Tim Gaither.
So you're deadheading it after, not there earlier.
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow for Little Rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're on a loony bin run.
Yeah, just doing 2 weeks. Have you been
How's
doing
life
any
back
shows lately?
Yeah, I just did. I was in Hyenas at Fort Worth this
Okay.
past weekend.
How was
Yeah,
that?
it was pretty good. It was great. It was very needed. You know,
Oh yeah.
they space them out there at the club, but it still has doesn't feel any different than when that's packed. You know.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. How about you guys? How's that been?
Tulsa was Wednesday was really good, I thought. And then Thursday was okay. And then Friday was kind of light. Saturday was really good though. It was pretty packed for taking
That's
out
good.
all the tables and whatnot.
How you feeling? How you feeling with telling jokes in the age of Rona?
It's weird, man. It's it's weird to get your feet back under you, but it's been going all right, you know. I feel like people are like they like getting out and going to the shows, so maybe they took it for granted before. I don't know.
I don't know if there's the thing that gives me the creeps, and I got to do it because I got to feed my family and everything. So it's like I just sort of wrap up, don't touch anybody, and keep my hands clean and do everything I can. But
Yeah,
I feel like the idea that there was a before and after is kind of ridiculous because we're still all up in the middle of this. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like because I had things where when it first shut down in March, lost tens of thousands of dollars of work.
Yeah,
And then like 2 months after that, people got real optimistic and started booking stuff again. And then there was a whole wave of those cancellations.
Yeah,
No. It turns out it is still closed and life still sucks. And then, so now I got them coming in again. And I'm like, man, every time I remember I've been burned like this before. That second wave of bookings, even though it didn't take as much money out, that one seemed to hurt worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It was because it had hope involved in it. And you take the hope out, you're just kicked in the sack.
Yeah. I think I got lucky with my bookings because they did Tucson in June, and I did that weekend, and then they shut down again right after I was there, and then I didn't really have any other bookings after that for a while. So,
Are you doing any extra shit to stay alive? I mean, are you job in it, odd job in it, or just
No,
comedy?
no, I've been
Just
living
suffering?
with my mom, so it's not so bad.
Wait, was that a thing that you were already doing, or did you go back to mom's?
I moved back in with her in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're suffering. I feel you. I feel your pain.
Yeah. I mean, I made some money doing unemployment, but.
Oh, that's good. That's good work if you can not get it.
Yeah. Like shit, I was making more in unemployment than I was in comedy. I look into that full time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough racket.
Yeah, it is.
It takes a real skill to continuously go on job interviews and not get hired.
I've gotten pretty good at it.
Yeah, that's good. I have a feeling I'm not
where
right
they
for
want
this.
to hire me, and then I say something racist or something, then they're like, maybe not.
You ever get that feeling like, oh shit, they're gonna hire me? They like me. Okay, quick, say something racist, but not too racist, because
yeah,
you don't want to get all the way canceled.
Go the first day and work a few hours, and then make fun of the boss's hair or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know. Just
I don't know if those first couple. I think it's as soon as you start filling out that get hired paperwork, it fucks up the unemployment though. So
does it?
Yeah. You can't. Okay. Yeah, the trick is you have to keep looking for work and not get it.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's a hustle. It's a whole hustle. You can watch the entire series Shameless, and it'll give you a little more clues on how to operate outside of the system.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Do you have any shows coming up?
I do. I got actually about to have a busy couple of weeks, I suppose. I got a little one night headlining spot at the Houston Improv this Thursday.
Oh, right on.
So that'll be fun.
22nd.
It is.
Cool, man.
This man knows his calendars. I like it. I mean, when you're on the road, you know exactly what day of the week it is.
Yeah. There's a couple months where I did not know the days of the week, like April and May.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know.
Yeah. For us, it was with having the kids in the house. The way the timeline worked out for us is there it was the second week of March, and our kids were on spring break.
Oh yeah.
And it was everything shut down the Monday they were supposed to go back to school. So we already had a week.
Oh wow.
Pre-shutdown of having the kids at home, and then so it's like they went on spring break and never went back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so now it's just been every day.
Yeah.
All four kids and us here in the house. And so after a while, every day is Monday and every day is Saturday at the same time. Because it just doesn't matter.
Are they back in school now? Like
they're doing distance learning.
Is it?
Yeah. And probably will for the rest of the school year, because the numbers just aren't getting to a thing. And plus, our schools are open. We could take them back.
Oh, okay.
But we hear plenty of how disgusting it is. So we're like, don't want y'all bringing that shit home and getting us sick, because it would just be a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? They're kind of thriving on the online learning, and my wife has really stepped up and been like quite the teacher. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. Yeah, my 10-year-old especially, she is probably done better in this first semester of school than she had, the previous years of school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's trippy, huh? When you gotta.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Well, there's two things that are cool, that I think attribute to that. It's the extra added attention of mom sitting there with her and making sure she goes through stuff. Plus also having that extra gear of being a parent. So when they're not paying attention, or if they screw up and it's kind of a dumb mistake, my wife gets on them in a way that a teacher won't, like she'll seriously, it's fucking 7. Okay. Why are you writing the wrong, the way a teacher can't get on them, a parent can. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Or, hey, fucking pay attention. We're trying to learn here. Teacher won't do that now. Teacher nowadays just goes, okay, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
So cool. she thrives with the extra parental attention.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you been helping out with any classes?
I mean, yes, a little bit with art. Like we have very defined roles when it comes to the Wessling Academy here. The wife is clearly the principal and the head of education. She's management through and through. I'm lunch lady, PE coach, and art assistant.
I can see that.
A little bit of janitorial work. That's my role in the school here, and I thrive at it. The air fryer has been perfect for school lunches. I whip up the pizza rolls, the tater tots, the fish sticks, chicken nuggets. Oh yeah, that air fryer gets trucking about noon and doesn't cool down to about 2:00. Yeah. And my oldest is a teenager. She's in 8th grade now, and all of her stuff is online too. But she has a different school schedule than the rest of them do, where she just stays up till midnight, because right at midnight all the assignments and videos and stuff come out. So she just crams from midnight to 2, and then sleeps to like 11, and then gets up and then turns things in. And yeah, it's like, so she's kind of, and you know, she's never made a grade less than a 95, you know, so she's killing it. She's just but she fact that she doesn't have to worry about getting up at 6 and going and sitting at school all day. She just does it whenever she feels like.
That's cool.
Can't say that it's not working, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd love to be the old stodgy fucker. Oh, my day school was there today, but you can't argue with results either.
Yeah, for sure. You named your kids after comedians, didn't you?
I did. It's funny because I really wanted my kids to have a famous comedian's name. I was hoping it'd be mine, but that didn't work out really well. So had to hedge the bet. So yeah, I got kids named after Sam Kinison, Bill Cosby. Didn't think that was going to be the controversial one. Yeah, that snuck up on us. Carlin, we have a Carlin, and my son is named Keaton after Michael Keaton / cool. Buster Keaton. Yeah,
right on.
Yeah. So, no matter what happens, they'll always have the stink of a comedian father on them.
Yeah.
So I was hoping Wessling would be the key name there, but
it will. There's still time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, you're still young.
Yeah, no, let's not get carried away. Kurt, you're a nice guy. I'm 45. I'm busted.
Yeah, you're young, man.
At this point, you know what I look at it as? I am on the younger side of being a potential character actor, which I think is the future lane that I have still available for me in entertainment. You know what I mean? Like I can be, you know, ridiculous character, bad guy character, you know, scary dude at the mall kind of thing. That's where I think my career lies. I think if there was any of the like the CSI or the CIS or whatever the fuck they're called that were filming nearby, I could definitely be like a suspect, you know.
Oh yeah, I could see you as a suspect.
Yeah,
or at least
right?
a police lineup.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. I was on a ship one time, and the other comic I was working with is a very funny black guy, but the MC, the guy who works on the ship, like the entertainment host, we rotate shows, right? So I would do one show, he'd do another show completely. We never were on the same show at the same time, but the MC was on, and he started giving his intro first before he realized that it was me. So he gave this guy's whole intro and then looked over and went, "Oh, it's John Wessling," right? So he introduced me as you may have seen him on countless shows on BET. Please welcome John Wessling. And they were laughing, and about half the room was black on this cruise. And they were like, like they were up front, on BET, really? And I said, yes, I was on BET quite a bit. I was the bad cop. I just made the sad look, and they kind of, oh yeah, you would be racist cop number 2. Yeah, but I think that's a great future for, you know, like you think about the golden age of post 9/11, and I say golden age because I say from the perspective of the Middle Eastern comedian and character actor who was looking for work. All of a sudden, you know what I mean? They were just they couldn't not work. They showed up, and it was, hey, hold on, like, fuck yeah, you're in. There you go. You're over there and stand in the corner and try to figure out an AK, and you know, I can be that now. I could be bad white guy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
A lot of filming in Houston at all?
No, not really.
Oh yeah, you're kind of screwed then.
I mean, there's some in like around Texas. The funny thing is like the Texas film scene thrives on the fact that it's a tax-free state, so it's basically cheap as fuck. They were saying, "Hey, come on here and exploit us," and
that's how New Mexico is. Yeah,
we're real cheap, and labor, we don't even care about it. You want to kill them, fuck them. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whenever they film in I guess it is like New Mexico too. You need to film something with real dangerous car crashes and explosions in the wilderness. Shit, we don't even have an EPA here. Come on out. You know, you need to thermite exploded a plane. Hell yeah, we got them. Come on out here to El Paso and light some shit on fire. Yeah, that's pretty much like it is. And well, how about you? I mean, you're Albuquerque too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you? How at this point are you not involved in the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul universe? I mean,
I'm trying to actually. I'm trying to get an agent out there, and nothing's really filming right now, so kind of just waiting.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's got to be tough. I remember I lived in LA and I had an agent. I would bust his balls for stuff. At least he was in LA and there's stuff going on. That's got to be tough when you're the Albuquerque guy and you're like, oh yeah, hey Curt, how you doing? Yeah, still nothing. Still no auditions. There's no one in their office. I'm just gonna go back to the pool. All right, you want to come by? Want to hang out at the pool? We'll both stare at my cell phone together. That sounds like fun. Come on out. He's like, yeah, Curt, I'm a real estate agent, right? I don't know if you keep asking me about auditions, but I need more for open houses, not open mics. Hook me up there. But how is Albuquerque? How do you like it out there?
I love it, man. I love it. My family's there. So
are you a native New Mexican?
No, I grew up in Iowa. I moved to Albuquerque when I was 17.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Took you out of that prime pussy chasing Iowa territory and took you out into the desert and what'd you put you to work in the turquoise shop? What's a 17-year-old do when he gets thrown into the mix in New Mexico?
Well, I was in high school at the time, so I was finishing high school, and then when I graduated, I just started working at Pizza Hut, and then decided I wanted to do stand-up, and then
why not? Yeah.
So I was going to college, community college, and I quit that just to focus on stand-up. And
you know what, man? I get it. That sounds right, but I'm a comic. Doesn't need that much focus. You could probably juggle the rigors of community.
Once I started, I was like, wow, there's only one open mic a month.
I could have done both. I think I could have handled a 12-hour semester and the one open mic. But I'm really focused in, Mom. I don't come in here.
5 minutes, I'm writing 3 Sundays from now. Get out of here.
Mom, I got this great joke I'm working on about Von Dutch hats. I can't talk right now. Don't bother me with school. It gets in the way of my art. So you never went back to the community college, or just
I did actually. I went back like in 2012 and learned how to do video editing and Photoshop and a bunch of stuff like that. So
well, at that point, it's like going to a trade school then, right? Like
yeah. It was kind of just to help myself out where I can edit my own videos and things like that. So
how's that going? You doing some editing?
Mm-hmm.
You cutting stuff together? Star wipe? You star wiping?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, how do you not know what a star wipe is?
Man, taking a good class.
Yeah, you didn't. Just go to transitions. Look at the bottom. There should be one that says star wipe.
Oh, let me write that down.
Yeah, right.
Star wiping. I'm gonna star wipe this episode.
I think you should. I demand star wipes. Be like pushes anyway.
Actually,
later.
I'm taking some classes. I don't know. They're like some Adobe classes this week. I'm gonna do. Like Adobe's got this big conference that they do every year, and usually it's pretty expensive, but they're doing it for free this year. So watch some of their courses. It's
really expensive, but I got a friend who already downloaded it on a disc, and he's just I've got the password, and it's teeming with viruses. But I don't need to pay for the. That's got to be. You got to be real specific whenever you're ordering Adobe products when you live in New Mexico, because there's other Adobe products.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They send you a house.
I wanted software. Like, it's soft right now. It'll harden up. It's dry. It's dry, right? It'll get.
Got a star wipe.
Star wipe it. Thanks. Star wipe my living room. My Adobe suite. That's funny. Well, with everything shut down, I was trying to get my oldest. She's on like a valedictorian path, right? So she's trying to find some things that she can do that kind of sweeten the pot, right? Like not just about dominating in the class. You got to have the extracurriculars. You got to have some spice on that resume, and one of the things we looked at was like all the different online classes and universities that during the shutdown offered like free classes you can audit and things like that. And I said, you got to get on that. And he's like, well, I don't know if it's anything I want to learn. I was like, no, that's just it. Take random stuff, weird things where you can just take a odd Harvard class on graphic novels You know, you basically just watch the thing for a couple hours a night for a week or two, and I was like, that's going to look cool. That's a conversation piece at that point, right? Or there was one that was like a PR, what's it called? Like a graphic design PR, making flyer templates and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
That I was trying to get her to do. I was like, hey, look, it's free. You got nothing else going on. You know, what are you gonna take another semester of Texas history? I think you got that figured out. There's only about 6 months of Texas history. Fucking once you got that down, you're gonna do another year of that. Well, might as well learn Adobe.
Heck yeah.
Now that would be the trick, is now get her to learn both the Adobe Acrobat and Adobe Construction, because then that would be clever, right? That would be like, hey, what kind of Adobe you want me to work on here? I think that would work. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think you could do that, or maybe do something with Final Cut. And then you can also be a barber.
Yes, see, you get it. You're feeling what I'm dealing here. That's a good idea. Like, it's like cross training.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I like it. Well, so my daughter started playing guitar. And like electric guitar. It was so funny because I had an electric guitar that we bought on the 50 States tour. And we bought it in Boston. It's this nice Korean-made Telecaster. It's a beautiful guitar, and I had it. Like, I'm not a good guitar player at all, but I bought it. It was like $50 at a pawn shop in Boston. Daddy's Junkie Pawn Shop, I remember it was called. Nice. And so it just been sitting up in my closet. And she comes up to us probably early May, and she just went, hey, I was thinking about it, and I want to try to play electric guitar, and I got an idea of the guitar that I want. I want it to be yellow and like this really pretty wood. And I'm like, while she's saying it, I'm like, is she fucking with me? Because does she know that that's almost exactly the guitar that I have in the closet? But she didn't. Like, I sniffed her out, and she was like really asking, like, she's like, look, I got some pictures of a guitar I kind of want. And it was like almost the exact guitar that I had really? in my closet. So I was like, well, hold on a second. Like, close your eyes. And I busted it out, and she was befuddled, like blown away. And I was like, there's no way you didn't remember that I had a guitar stuffed away in this closet, right? There's no way. There's no way. But she was legit baffled. And blown away by it. So it blew her mind. Like, she thought I was some sort of magic man that could just manifest some shit that she showed me on her phone. She tried it with other things since. I'm like, no, girl, I don't have Amazon Dropbox in my closet here. That was
I thought maybe she had seen it in the closet, and she's like, oh, it looks like they're getting me a guitar for Christmas.
Well, yeah, then she just asked, just drop, like, how about you just give it to me now in May and not make me wait all the way until dumbass Christmas time. That's funny, but it was just peculiar. But yeah, I tell you what, she had nothing else to do. She was already done with all her school, and she just started taking taking online lessons, like watching YouTube stuff. And next thing you know, she's in there just a picking and a grinning, dude. And she's pretty damn good at it.
Nice. I just bought a bass in July, and I've been learning how to play.
Oh yeah! Oh shit! I wish you had it with you, man. I'll get the guitar. You could.
I've got it with me. I don't have my amp or anything.
Oh no shit! You're traveling with a guitar, huh? You're gonna incorporate that into the shows? You have a future of being.
If I get good at it, maybe
a bass comic.
Yeah, there's not many bass comics out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could just sit there and
bass comic. Well, Chuck Savage used to play the bass, didn't he, on stage?
Yeah, big old stand-up bass. That's one thing. Yeah.
That's when I met you. Was the 50
States right. We came through. Was it Looney's?
No, it was Albuquerque.
What was the one in Albuquerque?
Laughs.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Chuck let me autograph his bass that night.
Yeah, dude. I saw Chuck. I was over at his house about a month ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and saw that big, beautiful bass again. Yeah,
nice.
That was cool.
Cool.
Chucky's doing good, man. Chuck's doing
Is he
real
still
good.
doing stand-up?
No, he's not really performing at all.
Really?
He just we keep trying to talk him back into going back at it. But he just sort of stepped out of it. He's got a pretty cush job doing AV work for like big events.
Cool.
So he's like on tour like a rock star, but with corporate hours and a corporate card. I was like, that's even better. What I mean? He's setting up like big conference room presentations that are done by 5, and then they're out, eating sushi and chugging sake all night. Yeah, Chuck figured it out, man.
That's cool, man. How did the 50 states and 50 days tour come about?
Oh, like how did we decide to do it?
Like what all happened with the planning of that and
Oh
everything?
well, I'm glad you asked me because that was a lot of fun, and I sometimes get kind of the memory of it gets clouded by just the disappointment that it didn't go anywhere, that we weren't able to kind of get it developed and distributed. But it's glad that you brought that up because after hanging out with Chuck and we're talking about the fun that we had, right?
Mhm.
And it was still an amazing accomplishment, even though after Montreal, no one ever saw it again. But it was something that I had been kicking around in my head since probably like 2001, 2002. Like, wouldn't it be cool if it was kind of the brainchild of me and Tommy Drake. And Tommy Drake's a big student of comedy and like comedy history, comedy historian stuff. Like he'll sit there and he'll talk to you about vaudeville from the 30s for days,
Cool.
right? So yeah, exactly. So we're talking about how there's not a lot of first left in comedy.
Mhm.
That was the idea. There's not a lot of things left in comedy where you can be the first person doing it anymore. And we just stumbled on the story of George Thorogood and the Destroyers doing 50 shows in 50 states in 50 days. And we're like, well, no one's ever done that with comedy. It seems like it'd be a lot easier to have some dudes and telling jokes and we just pop out on stage in places. And so that it just started tickling us from there. And then it was one of those things that you talk about joking around, ha ha ha. And then like when you're separate, you're like, I was actually thinking about it. You know what? If we started here, that could work, right? So then it just turned into this plan, like almost like we started planning it out the same way you plan like a bank robbery on your days off. It was like, oh, that was fun. Hey, so pull out the piece of paper. Look, I figured out how we can get through Kentucky. Hey, we're gonna have to skip some states on the eastern for so that we can come back. Like we kept like it would, and then it was like finally there was a tipping point where we had done so much planning and talking about it and imagining it that we were like, well, fuck it, let's just do it. And the first, I'd say 2003, 2004. We were actually trying to pitch it to networks and to producers and try to make it like a proper film tour and all that. We got so close, dude. There was like heartbreaking meetings where it felt like we were closing in the room, like we're going to make it happen. And then just things fell apart. And we got to the point where we're like, you know what? At this point, let's just do it ourselves, film it ourselves, totally raw. And we did it that way. And I tell you what, dude, it was the most fun I've ever had doing comedy in my life. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done because we're all doing all of the driving ourselves. Like it was ground travel only for the entire lower 48. The only flights we made were from Seattle to Alaska, then Alaska back down to LA, and then over to Hawaii. So that was the only, and I tell you, those were the most nerve-wracking travel days of the whole fucking thing because, what we kind of didn't think about until we actually started doing it. And I've talked to a couple guys that have done it since, like Morgan Preston has done, I think done it two more times since we did it the first time. And the logistics of it gets more stressful every day because it's a streak, right? And if the streak gets broken, it's completely fucking worthless. So, like when our tour about the 3-week mark is kind of where we hit some real adversity and some real stress because like if this fucking falls apart, no one's going to give a shit that we did 48 states in 52 days. You know what I'm saying? It's like it only works if it works. So once we got all the way through the 48 and then it was no longer in our control, like it could have just been one late flight, one canceled flight, one bad weather, one losing of the bags, because we had to check the fucking the base on the flights because we took that base all the way to the damn Hawaii, and then we were scared shitless more about that. So we finally wind up getting off the last plane in the big island of Hawaii, and all of our stuff was there, and it was like 4 hours until the show. And we were just so exhausted, but then at the finish line, like right here, like, oh, it's so close. And like that, I remember that afternoon, that nasty road feeling. Like, how it is when you've been traveling a lot, like, and you've got like 4 or 5 days of quick one-nighters and long drives and like tribble shit, right?
Yep.
And you're just completely dirty, grimy, no sleep, sweaty all around the eyes, just feeling like shit. And like, no, what are we going to do? I can't take a nap. If I take a nap, I'm done, you know? So it was just that afternoon of killing time before we did a show at a bowling alley in Kona, Hawaii. And then we didn't think about it. Like, we were like, all right. So right before the show starts, someone fucked with us and said, oh, well, hey, well, what time zone did you start this thing at? We're like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you're in the Hawaiian time zone. So, I mean, if it's more than 50 days past when you started it in Texas, well, maybe we need to start the show earlier. And we just like, wait, so what time is it now? So we wound up, we started that show at like 6:00 Hawaiian time, just so that we to make sure that it wasn't going to be after midnight. You know, because like, oh, that would be a technicality that I think would, I would say my argument was all time is local. So as long as it's that day of where we're at, that kind of counts. But it was enough that I was like, okay, well, yeah, we have to make sure this is finished less than 50 days from the moment that the other one started, right? So that was crazy. And then, you know, because there was a 3-man show. It was Chuck, Tommy, and me. And more often than not, that was the order of the show we did, where Chuck would host, Tommy would go in the middle, then I would do what was left at the end. And Chuck starts the show. And after his set, he's like, well, I'm happy to say it. I have made history. I am the first comic who has ever done 50 shows in 50 states. Thanks, everybody. Good night. And you're like, oh, we're like, no, you son of a bitch. You could have hijacked that from us at the very end and ended the show. So I was like, all right, technicality. Chuck Savage is the first comic who ever performed in 50 shows in 50 states in 50 days. Tommy Drake came in second, and I guess I was the third. So fair. It was fair. If I'd have thought about it ahead of time, if I knew there was fuckery afoot, I probably would have switched the order of the show.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? but Chuck wins.
No, you all won. That was great.
Yeah, right. Well, the crazy thing was, so we're filming. We had like 3 different cameras that we were using. We're editing stuff all along the fly. We were getting big boxes of mini DV delivered to us along the way. We're burning through about 8-9 tapes a day and trying to keep them labeled. And we're doing our own driving doing shows. And we were just fucking pudding headed.
Damn.
And the relief of when it was finally over, right? Like we stayed in Hawaii for like 2 or 3 days to kind of, you know, enjoy it a little bit. But there we were in the airport. Now, my wife and Tommy's wife came to join us, and Chuck's girlfriend met us in Hawaii as well. So we're kind of getting some time to spend with the family, you know, spend with our ladies, you know. And we're on the way back. Like we had just done the long flight from Hawaii to LA, where we're all about to kind of go our separate directions. And you know, Tommy and Chuck are both flying back to Houston. I'm staying there in LA. But so while we're kind of like saying goodbye at the before I was going to just leave and go home, and then they, you know, catch their connecting flight. We had just then at the fucking airport getting off the plane got the email from Montreal that said, hey, congratulations, we'd love for you to premiere your film of the Hell Gig America tour, you know, July 10th in Montreal. And of course, this is the end of May. And we just have boxes and boxes of footage. So just when we thought we were done, I immediately had to go and find the editor and work with this guy for days and days and days and days to go through footage, log footage. So it was like the end of it. I just wanted to collapse. And do nothing for a month before I even looked at the footage. But nope, had to do it immediately. Well, and it was cool because, well, you know, we get it done.
Waited a while.
I probably would have. Oh, I definitely would have waited because I wasn't. Well, I mean, we auditioned. We had the guys from Montreal meet us at our Vermont gig, which was a great experience, right? I think I've told you about that, right? When we were in Vermont and the guys from Montreal came down, because I'd been in New Faces the year before.
Yeah.
And where we did the gig in Montreal was this great venue called Higher Grounds. I want to say Burlington. It might be Burlington. Anyway, so they just come down, you know, an hour or so from Montreal to this gig. And we didn't really know anything about this gig. We thought, well, we'll just come see us at this random gig. But it turned out that this was the hottest fucking show of the entire tour.
Really?
It was this amazing music venue with about 300 people packed into this place. And we had shows like Rock Stars. It was this amazing. It just looked amazing. It just had a great look to it. And here's how we had playing, because we're driving in this old Chevy Uplander, our rental car. with the DVD screens that come back in the back. It's a straight up family minivan. And we had edited together a little bit of highlight reel from the 2 weeks leading up to where we wound up in Vermont. And Chuck was working on that the entire drive up because we knew these guys were coming and we wanted to screen what we were shooting for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted them to have the authentic Hell Gig America experience. So we warmed up the van for them first, where we're like, hey, you guys come on out and meet us at the van in the parking lot. This is like after the crowd's all kind of left and everyone's leaving. And we sat in the van, smoked a big old fat joint, and I ripped the Harley fart. And then we opened up the gates and let them come. You guys have a seat right here in the all of our luggage, everything. They're just hot of ass and weed. And like handed them the doobie, closed the doors, and pressed play with the remote. And they sat and watched the thing, smoking the rest of this joint in a hot boxed fart car. They hop out. They're like, "Oh, that was great! So much fun seeing you guys." We're like, "Well, great, because we got to go. We got. I think it was somewhere in Pennsylvania we had to be to do radio the next morning, so we were leaving immediately. So it was like this perfect visual of us in this fucked up minivan leaving." While they're standing there waving at us in the parking lot. And then we didn't really think about it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And then it was the exact fucking moment the thing ended when they said, "Congrats." So I was like, oh shit. Oh man, I kind of wish we hadn't put on such a good show for them.
Yeah.
So that I could rest and sleep. Yeah, it was a trip. And I was, unpacking my office here at the house and cleaning some things out, and I stumbled across a whole treasure trove of like a lot of the clippings and everything from the tour, a lot of the art and stuff that we made when we took it to Montreal. And it was such a weird experience when we took it to Montreal. Like my agent said, "Don't do it." Tommy's manager said, "Don't do it," because they knew what we didn't already know, is that so many of the places that we pitched the idea to in the year before were already developing rip-off tour ideas.
Oh yeah.
So we debut it, and it's in the film festival part of the Just for Laughs Festival 2005, and we were right alongside the Aristocrats. That was the big film.
Oh, cool.
that was the big premiere, and ours was this little tiny second thing, And like I said, we were already dead in the water. We were already ripped off. There was already Comedians of Comedy in development. There was already fucking Tourgasm was on development from the companies that we just pitched to.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, but I'd love to do it with famous people and a tour bus and lots of money. Okay. So like I wind up getting fired or dropped by my agent like a month after. Tommy, same thing, gets dropped by his. And it felt like, God damn, why did we go through all this and this whole curse and the whole fucking thing fell apart? Oh, hold on. My wife's calling me. Let's see what's up. Hello. Hey, I'm doing some podcasting right now with my buddy Curt Fletcher. So I'm on a Zoom on his show. So what's going on? Everything okay? Jesus Christ, what did she do to that thing? Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, this is good. Jesus. We'll figure it out, and we'll chew her out. It'll be fun. Oh, I know. All right, well, head to the grocery store and take your time. Get a snack. You'll be all right. Everyone here has been fed and watching cartoons, and everyone's done their classes, and it's all good. I'll get the air fryer out. I'll make more tater tots if you want me to. Oh, she does? Oh, yeah. All right. I will. All right, babe. Bye. You see me switching the dad mode?
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah, my oldest daughter, who wanted a brand new cell phone so bad, it just completely locked up and everything. Like it was just, it wouldn't do anything. Just spinning wheel of death. And so my wife took it to the AT&T store thinking it'd be an easy fix. And it turns out it's just, she hasn't backed it up since April. It's full of this and just like a complete fucking horror show. Who could have ever seen this coming? I was like, I can't believe she got the best iPhone in the house.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, no, she gets the old busted ones. Maybe get her one of Tommy Drake's flip phones. Do some Snapchatting on a flip phone.
Did you guys have cell phones on that tour?
We did. You know, funny you mentioned that because this was 2005, so this was pre MySpace even. Like we all had just regular cell phones. It was phone calls. I mean, online was so different then from what it is now.
Yeah.
And if we'd have been able to do that kind of tour now in the age of modern social media with, 5G kind of being able to stream shit from your phone everywhere, it'd be a completely different animal. But at the time, it was just three dudes with flip phones on, we had a little tiny website that we were putting journals on. But
I remember the website. I remember that's how I started following you guys, was the website.
Then it's crazy to think back and remember how it was for comics and trying to promote stuff or even do anything. There was no such thing as an online presence.
Yeah.
No
electronic press kits or anything.
Yeah, there was nothing like that.
Could have sent actual VHS tapes.
Dude, if we could have, I talked to Morgan Preston about it because he did his stuff when, MySpace and Facebook and Twitter and everything else is going. I was like, that make it easier? And he's like, hell yeah, I couldn't have done it without it. We had fan pages set up and we needed something or people if a show fell out, we would just put out a thing. And next thing you know, it's boom, it's done.
Yeah. Cause I remember he had a show lined up in Albuquerque that fell out at the last minute. And if it wasn't for Facebook, he wouldn't have been able to find a show in Albuquerque that night.
Yeah, we didn't have that. We just had that. Like there was, I think it was the Atlanta gig. Like originally we were supposed to do it at the Funny Farm, and then they just Caspered on us. And when we literally get to town and they were closed. Like they weren't. There was no one at the building, so we had to scramble around and literally went door to door to sports bars and shit. Said who's doing karaoke? Because if they're doing karaoke, they can do comedy. Yeah, and just found a place. We walked in and sweet talked them, and were able to do a show for their people who were there. So
was that the only time that happened on that tour? Was Atlanta?
There was several that just completely melted and fell apart, and we just had to hustle and get on the phone. And like during the day when we were driving from place to place, and we made it harder on ourselves because so many of the gigs had morning radio attached. So instead of just leisurely driving to the, because we're going from state to state, our average drive was only about 150 miles, right? So but the fact that we had to haul ass after the show was over to get to the next place to do radio the next morning and then sit around that town all fucking day for a show, it put unnecessary aggravation and stress on us. You know what I mean? It would have been a lot smoother to just sort of to get by without it. But I mean, I'd love to do it again. We talked about doing it again and trying to actually beat some speed records. Like I think we could do 50 states in a month. I think we could do it in 30 days. If you start doing, because we were very strict about one show, one state, one day. Right? That was the idea there. We didn't want to double up and take, going East Coast, you can do you can do 3-4 states a day, real quick. If you don't, you start doing lunch shows. So I think if you open up all of those, then I think you could do it in 30. And in fact, I think talking to Morgan about kind of joining their tribe and the Hellgig tribe together and making a group run at it. Because I think like the way we did it was like how the Mercury astronauts went to space. Like they didn't get to do all the cool shit and go to the moon or even fly around a space shuttle and get to float. They were just strapped in a tin can and screamed, I'm barely in space. I'm going to die on the way down. Right. So that was us. We didn't get to do all the super awesome thrills things, but we were able to barely accomplish
Was the travel harder on the West Coast getting to the gigs? Since it seems like the states are a lot bigger on the West Coast.
It was for sheer miles and the fact that we were already deadhead, fatigued, and worn out.
Okay, so you started on the East Coast?
Yeah, well, we started in Texas and worked our way southeast and then up to, so it's kind of, we started and swooped around. So, I mean, those were the last ones we did, and we were over a month into it, and we're just burnt out. And the van that we started in, we drove that some bitch to death. And the van that we started the gig in, the Chevy Uplander, the maroon Chevy Uplander, it died on the side of the road in Montana underneath the Continental Divide sign.
Oh shit.
Like that's where we were parked on the side of the road waiting for it was like, this couldn't have been more perfect for this to die here. And then and they towed us to the gig, and the next morning we had Nissan Pathfinder for the last week of that stuff. And so which was smaller. We're even jammed even tighter with our shit around us.
Man.
But yeah, it was much harder. And in fact, it was so crazy that Dave Tribble actually created a special run just for us.
Oh, really?
Like he took special sadistic pride in coming up with our route. And he set up this Colorado gig that was amazing. On paper, it looked like it was going to be a highlight of the film, a highlight of the tour. It was, I can't remember where it was offhand, but it was a mountain casino in Colorado. It was way the fuck, like 12,000 feet. We couldn't breathe. And the deal that we had worked out is they had us in nice first class accommodations. Everything was beautiful. The show was great for about 150 people. It was one of the hands down best shows. But what we had worked out for compensation for the gig was, I believe, $200 each in chips, and that we were going to play blackjack at a table against one of the dealers. Like we would play an entire shoe of blackjack at this table with each of us staked with 200 in chips. And I tell you, I want to dig up that footage because it was a goddamn bloodbath. Like it was, you couldn't have written in a movie. You couldn't have had Rounders 2 and wrote out how painful this entire shoe went for us. Like and with like some Eastern European woman dealer who was just the cooler from Vladivostok. This girl was just flown in to fucking kill us. And we played we were literally like, we're not playing this wrong at all. We all made the right card decisions. And then she would go, ooh, 20. Or she'd boom, 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 draw out to a 21 and phew, like wiped us all the way out. We never won a single hand, and we're wiped off the table. And it was so demoralizing that like the gathered audience, the people who were there to see us do it on the floor at the casino after the show, it was like depressing. Like they were like, oh, that sucks. Oh, we're so sorry for you guys. Oh man. And then they're like, well, you still have the complimentary buffet. And we just went all like hypoxic from the air, half stoned and drunk, and just got humiliated at the blackjack table and ate some fucking prime rib and mashed potatoes up in the sky, and then just like left sadly. It was like it just had the weirdest fuck, what happened to us taste in the mouth. But I want to do it when we do it again. I want to do the big special show I want to do is at Four Corners.
Oh yeah,
I want to do a rotating show at the Four Corners spot.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And have an audience in each of the 4 quadrants in the States.
Yeah.
And be able to do it that way, because I think that would be an interesting.
I know some people in that area that do comedy, so I might be able to help you out.
Okay, all right. Oh, see, Curt, like this I was talking about. You start doing the playful, talking about what ifs, and next thing you know, you got an entire legal pad full of ideas and people ready to line up and help, and you're like, oh fuck it, let's do it. Maybe if we do it again, man. One of the ideas I had was not just if we're gonna do it again. Do you remember that movie Contact?
Contacts. Who's in it?
Jodie Foster. There was
a
space thing where right. Where anyway, there's a quote where he said, "Why just build one when you could do 2 for twice the price?" Right? Was the idea. And I was like, I thought the same thing. Is like, if we're gonna do it again, we should have 3 or 4 different teams that start and go in different directions. So they're all going around the country at the same time.
Oh, that'd be cool.
End in Hawaii at the same time. I think that would be a cool way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you down. I want to put you down for one of the teams. So we'll see if you actually feel like doing it when it comes up.
Oh, absolutely. One of my goals when I started comedy, I always wanted to perform in all 50 states. And then I've heard so much stuff about New Jersey where I'm like, I don't really feel like going to New Jersey.
I think we did in Jersey, we did a Lake Hopatcong.
Yeah.
Or Hopatcong. I don't know how they pronounce it, but it's like Ho-Pat-Kong is the name of the lake. And it was like this great bar.
Yeah.
It was a great night. And then, of course, as soon as the show's over, we just drove into New York City and fucking partied for a day. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
What year was that tour? 2005?
2005. Yeah, 2005 is when we did it. We started, I think, April 3rd or April 4th, 2005 through the end of May.
Yeah, I met you in May. I remember it's like probably around the 23rd or so.
I've got a poster here somewhere that has all the dates exactly.
Cool. How long have you been doing stand-up before you did the tour?
Oh, at least 10 years.
Okay.
At least 10 years. Yeah, because I started when I was in college, so that was mid 90s. So yeah, I'd say I was right at about 10 years total.
So that was after you got to roast Foxworthy, right?
Yeah, it was after Foxworthy. I did that right after, I think, Montreal the first year, the 2004. So that would have been either was it late 2004 or the beginning of 2005.
I saw a picture. It was you, Steve McGrew, who I'm working with in Little Rock this week.
Oh, tell Steve I said hi.
I will.
And I hope he's doing okay. It's going to be a tough couple of weeks for him.
Yeah. Ron White, Ingval, and Foxworthy were all on the pictures from, I think it said December 2004.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I remember it was cold in New York.
Yeah.
So
what was that experience like?
Oh man, that was a great experience. That was a lot of fun. That was it was only the second time I'd ever got to go to New York, and so I was feeling pretty good about that. Mm-hmm. It was a fun experience. It was a bummer that they cut me out of the broadcast version, which sucks. But experience wise, it was pretty cool. It was cool to be in the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh yeah.
One thing that was weird though is, and I don't know if it was Apostle Films that produced it, which is Dennis Leary's company.
Okay.
And they were also the producers of was it Tough Crowd? What was it called? Remember Tough Crowd?
Yep. Colin Quinn.
It had just gotten canceled right when we got there.
Oh, really?
And half of the Tough Crowd guys were on the dais of this thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they were originally supposed to be. I think it was a little bit of a fuck you to Comedy Central by the Apostle guys. So there was like this weird, creepy attitude of all the Tough Crowd dudes who were super bitter about everything that just happened and had a whole lot of fuck you vibe to it. So there was that. It was like walking into someone else's fight kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like, hey, I don't know, man. I just got booked on a thing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why y'all are sitting there all fucking pissed, ready to fight. Yeah, it was like there was one point where Jim Norton in the green room was like fucking fuming mad, like just screaming pissed, wanting to fight a producer. Who I guess was one of them. It was like, I don't know what's going on here. And of course, Jeff Foxworthy was like, man, what's going on with these fellers? It was fucked up. It was a weird vibe, but it was cool. It was definitely a cool experience. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to tell jokes in that group.
Cool. Yeah, I bet, man.
There was a last second change. Like I was originally supposed to be the stage manager, was the part that I was playing on the roast, and was supposed to go up, and a lot of my material was supposed to be picking on the other guys on the dais defending Jeff. That was the original premise. Mm-hmm. Which you see that a lot in roast. It's okay, enough making fun of that guy. Let's make fun of all these people who are here talking shit, right? Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the angle. But I think what had happened is, candidly, is all that material that I wrote wound up getting divvied up amongst those guys to use themselves. Mm-hmm. So they changed my character last second to play Johnny Foxworthy, Jeff's little brother, fresh out of prison. And let's just say the material that I was issued was subpar at best. Oh, really? Right? Like you got to ask Steve McGrew about it, because Steve will tell you. Like at one point we were sitting next to each other on the dais, and he was up, I think next or coming up soon, and someone said something that was like it was setting up one of the jokes that I had written originally, and I was like, oh, you know what? Here, Steve, you're going up there as yourself. How about I write? I handed him a joke and said, use this one, and literally a minute after I handed him, that exact joke came out of the mouth of one of the blue collar guys. And I was like, see, they scrapped me for fucking parts. One of the writers, Jeff Stilson, told me later that that's exactly what happened. That they thought everyone was going to show up with material, and they didn't, and so they had to do just that. Which sucked. It fucking sucked. It took a big bite out of me, and he's like, "Oh, you won, buddy," and I think he quit the business.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people who really like me or feel like they owe me a favor immediately leave entertainment. So,
yeah.
Contacts.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Like I said, the first time, that was the second time I ever been to New York City, and I was performing at the Hammerstein Ballroom and getting to stay in an amazing, top of the line hotel. It was a crazy 3 days.
Oh yeah.
The first time was when I was on Last Comic Standing, going there for the semifinals.
Oh yeah.
So the first time I went to New York was first class travel. It got to perform on Broadway. So I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to top that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? New York kind of spits me up and chews me out, but goddamn it, I love it. I love the way it feels.
Awesome. Well, man, we went way past the time limit.
Oh, well, you can practice some of your editing. You remember Star Wipe.
Yeah. Star Wipe. I already wrote it down. I'm excited about that. Where can people find you on online? I know you got a podcast.
Yeah, my new podcast that I'm making is called After Later. So it's After Later with John Wessling. Everywhere you get podcasts, you can find it. If you want to go to the homepage of it's anchor.fm/After Later. And I just started working with the fine folks at Helium. So I'm on the Helium Podcast Network. Cool. And I put out usually about 2 or 3 30-minute episodes a week. Matter of fact, that's one of the things I got to do. When we get off here, I got to upload one of my new episodes. But follow me on Twitter at John Wessling. That's JohnWessling.
Cool. I'll put that above your head over there so people can.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, heck yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here, man. I really appreciate
My pleasure.
It.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Curt. Yeah, it was great. I can't wait to work with you again.
Absolutely.
And be safe out there. Be careful. Wear a mask. Wash your fucking hands, would you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, wash everything.
I will.
Especially the comics you're working with. I know those fucking dudes. So.
I'm taking 2 showers a day.
Yeah, cover your eyes. Just some filthy bastards.
I wear 3 masks.
Good idea. That's a good idea.
All right, John. You take care, man.
Hey, dude. Thank you so much, Curt. That was a blast. Make sure you tag me in when you post it.
I will, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. Later, bro.
All right. See you, man. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. That was episode 16 in the Rye Podcast. It's fun talking to John Wessling. He's a great dude. Super funny guy. Go check him out if he's in your area. I just did some shows in Tulsa this past week with my buddy Tim Gaither and my buddy Rick Shaw was the host. So it was a fun week. Crowds weren't too bad. Had some fun shows. Met some cool people. Got to see a person that grew up in my hometown. Didn't really know her too well, like when I was growing up. She was a little bit older than me, but still kind of cool to see someone from the hometown come out. And met her husband, who's actually he used to work with a cousin of mine, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, it's a good time in Tulsa. This week I'm going to be in Little Rock, like I said, with Steve McGrew. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Then I don't have anything else the rest of October lined up. I do have some shows in November. I'll be in Glendale, Arizona at Stir Crazy Comedy Club, November 13 and 14 with Tim Gaither. And then November 20th, I'll be headlining a show in Greeley, Colorado at the Millennium Event Center. So if you're in any of those areas, come see a show if you want. That'd be cool. Also, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You can also donate if you want on Venmo at Funny Fletcher. And I do have merchandise on my website. If you're interested, I do have a code to type in for 10% off if you listen to the podcast. You can type in the code in the Rye Podcast, and that's all capitals and no spaces. 10% off. That's pretty cool. And just want to thank Jarrett Reddick. He's still working on my intro music for this. Should have that pretty soon. And then I want to thank John Singleton from Anesthesia, who does the outro music at the end of the podcast. And you should check out Anesthesia because they're badass. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.